Welcome back, everybody, to some StarCraft 2 action. We got Bly going up against Capitan, another Dutchman. It's Harstem. And they're playing each other in the lower bracket of the ESL Winter 2023 European Regionals. And of course, if you place very highly in this tournament, you go to the actual offline event. Harstem actually put up a really good series against Reynor in the upper bracket. He went down 2-3 eventually. So he took Reynor, a 6 Zerg and a world champion in his own right, to game 5. So Harstem knows how to play versus Zerg right now. And Bly went down to Skillus, you probably saw in my last video. So if they had both won their series, they would actually have faced each other. But now that they both lost their series, they're still facing each other. I have already recorded this once and didn't record it. So I'm re-recording right now for posterity. But that also means I already kind of know the outcome of this series. Just a heads up. So we see Bly going for somewhat of a standard build for him. No drone across the map, no shenaniganry, no 12 pool. He's just expanding to his own natural and no hatcheries anywhere else. Probe from Harstem being annoying here. And now the first thing we're gonna see is Bly going to stay mining gas here after he gets his speed, or does he keep drones in gas and go for that early lair style that he has been showcasing in the Swiss group stage so far? Stargate from Harstem coming down pretty good on this map. We saw Bly play against Shadone, I think Skillus as well, and Spatz. And he always went for the 2-base Nidus Swarm Host stuff. And getting a Stargate's really good against that. If you saw the Skillus game, you know where I'm going with this. You just have like 1 or 2 Void Rays patrolling the outskirts of your map. As you can see, there's quite a bit of surface area for you to cover. But if you get that Selnaga Tower, and you get those Void Rays far and away from your ground forces, then all of a sudden you can probably find those Niduses before they go up. And if you kill enough of these Niduses before they can go up, or before a significant portion of units can unload, then you're set to win that game. But who knows, maybe Bly's expecting like Void Ray into Blink Stalker, which would kind of blind counter the Swarm Host Nidus play. And then he could, for example, go super fast Hydralisk off of this super fast lair, and he's indeed going that lair. I think he's mining out the back of his base as well to get a third base, but the Adept did scout for that, and the minerals are still there. Harstem is mining out his own back pocket expansion, Shuel. So he is planning to take a pretty fast third base, and funnily enough, he might have a quicker third base than the Zerg. So it's not something you see every day, Protoss out expanding a Zerg player. Now we do see an Oracle coming up after the Void Ray here. As you can see, Void Ray already underway, clearing out these Overlords, because these Overlords give vision for a potential Nidus Worm, and it is fast lair, so that one is in the cards for sure. Or at least, yeah, like, we don't know for sure if it is going to be a Nidus Worm, but it's good on this map, and he is 2-base lair, so we'd expect, ooh, Nidus Worm. So this Nidus Worm is without an infestation pit so far, but he does have 4 gases. So I expect him to make an infestation pit. Oh, there he goes. Yes, 2-base Swarm Host it is. I kind of expect people to make an infestation pit before the Nidus Worm, because now you'll see the Nidus network finishes, and then you can't make Swarm Host yet. But maybe he doesn't attack and follows up with the Swarm Host. Ooh, Dropper Lord here, heading for the main base. Only 8 links in there. Nidus Worm about to finish, though. The links do arrive in the main base uncontested, and a Nidus Worm goes down in the main base right away. Probes are pulled off to fight this Nidus because there's no ground units here to contest the Nidus from coming up. Very nice play by Bly. Actually drops the Zerglings here to protect the worm. The worm usually gets shut down by these probes. And now, of course, it can't get shut down by the probes because the Zerglings were there to annihilate them. Now, queens and Zerglings do trickle out of the Nidus. All of the queens are actually lifted up by these Phoenix, except for one. Another Nidus worm going up. Zerglings are in the lower parts of the base of Harstem, wreaking havoc at the third and the natural, but getting killed up by Adepts. And another Void Ray here, trying to do work here. Queen is being targeted down. And, oh, it actually goes into the Nidus worm, so kind of cheeky micro here. And now the Swarmhost reinforcements are here. Still no third base for Bly. He's all inning with this, but probably for a good cause. 18 probes die. Main base is in peril. And the Swarmhosts are just chilling, waiting for their next Locust wave. Still have 2 queens here to deal with these Phoenix. More Swarmhosts do pop out, and the Adept are fighting the Locust here. Trying to focus down a Swarmhost, but even though Adepts do bonus damage versus the light that is the Locust light units, the Locust still have super high DPS, so you can actually lose low amounts of Adepts pretty effing fast. Damn, Stargates are unpowered here. Bly taking a third base behind this, and well, still 2 bases up and running for Harstem. Hasn't lost his third base, and the Phoenix count is ever increasing. We do have 2 spines and 3 spores building, though, in your main base at 7 minutes. Because, of course, it's a Bly game. Nidus Worm is being filled up further with more queens, more Zerglings popping out, and now we have 3 spores ready. Phoenix about to pop out. Oh my god, it gets annihilated by the queens, by the spore crawlers. Another Nidus Worm going up in the third base, and the main base slowly but surely in peril. And how do you defend your base when there is a new base being built inside of your base? Nidus Worm goes up, but it's only just to traumatize Harstem here. Zerglings are cleaning up the main base. 11 more probes die. Or 11 probes, 12 probes have died. In total, 31 probes have died, and here is a big problem for Harstem. The 4 Locusts land in the third base, get lots of damage done, and even though he does kill a part of the army of Bly, he just lost all of his probes in his third base. And he GG's out. Bly's up 1-0. And Bly up 1-0. Is now facing Harstem on Alcyone. I'm actually surprised that Harstem wants to face Bly on both Radhuset Station and Alcyone. Both kind of wonky maps in their own right. Like, I mean, Radhuset Station, do I need to explain why it's a weird map? And Alcyone, of course, this super fast gold base that you can take. Also got these rich geysers on the map. And if you break these rocks, suddenly you can connect to your creep pretty darn fast. And of course, Bly, I mean, you know, and Harstem knows that he's gonna take that gold base. So maybe Harstem just has a plan here on how to deal with this. So gold base, you can use it in a multitude of ways, of course. You can power boost your own economy and just get up to that 80 drones real fast. But you can also use it to get up to that 66 drones real fast and do an all-in. Or you can use it to get up to that 44 drones real fast and use that extra income that you get from the drones on the gold base to have a very hefty all-in. So you can do anything with it. It's basically just a better blue base, but it mines out quicker. We do see 8 drones here maynarding over to the gold base to take advantage of those gold minerals ASAP. Gas down here for Bly as well. Harstem side, we see standard opener as well. So first deviation we might see from Harstem is when the core finishes, what will be his tech structure of choice? Will it be a Stargate, or maybe you got something else planned? Double queen here for Bly. Let's see if he keeps mining gas again. And he pulled 2 out of gas, actually. Pretty nice that you can just send them to the mineral line closer to the gas. Usually you'd have to send them to your natural. So he gets speed, and he only has 1 drone in in gas, so not the super fast lair play that we saw last game. Bly looking to break down these rocks. Ooh, Harstem actually making sure that these drones can't fully utilize these 2 mineral patches. Pretty cute. Usually you see that done in the main base, but of course it's more effective when it's gold minerals. Adepts, or an adept does show up at the gold base, but both the queen and the zerglings are ready to defend that. Well, destructible debris has been destroyed by Bly, and he's running in with the lings once more. No gateway was built, no second gateway unit out just yet. And here come 2 lings going into the main base. 2 more trying to sneak their way in here. Bly, how do you always do this, you goddamn magician? Always seems to get his zerglings into your base, or at least the base of these Protoss players. Lings do take down a probe here. Lings in the main did end up dying. Another probe died to these 2 lings over here. These other lings could not get in. And this last ling seems to... Yes, it died as well. Do you see a cheeky overlord over here? Is this going to be a dropper lord? Maybe, maybe not. There is an oracle, so Harstem ended up going Stargate, just like he did last game. And that seems to be the standard for most Protosses right now. Just go that Stargate route, get your 3rd base up, get a couple of adepts to protect that 3rd base, and then go into the Twilight, +1, get the blink, and then go from there. Nice drive-by, getting 3 kills here with the oracle, and of course, it's a gold base, so every drone kill you get over there is a lot more income lost for the Zerg. Bly does get a 3rd base at his natural location. We see a Roach Warren here. Again, he's back to mining gas. Now let's see what he's up to now. Is he going for like a Roach Ravager attack? We do have a forward-facing creep tumors here, so not really trying to connect back to his natural, but trying to move forward. So might walk his queens there, might walk there with some Ravagers, Roaches, and Zerglings trying to get some work done. Might try and get a cancel on this 3rd base, but this is not a thing, because usually you just have your adepts like cutely tucked in there, and even if that doesn't work, you have 3 oracles with anti-Zergling laser beams. So, but the Zergling do force 1 beam to activate at least, which means that's less energy on the oracle, because there is a cost associated to activating the beam, and then the beam consumes energy per second after that. So just turning it on and off makes you rapidly deplete the energy of your oracles. Maybe something you can use versus feedbacks in the PvP mirror. I don't know. So 3rd base is up for Harstem as well. It's up for Bly as well, but there's no drones in here, and that is a little cheeky. We see the queens and the Ravagers and the lings, but Harstem sees it as well. We see 13 drones started up, so this might be kind of a fake, you know, where Bly is like, I've got these units, you better react, you better make all these batteries. In the back, he's making 13 drones, he's making a lair. Not an Evo chamber with upgrades, not the 4th base, but they might come in the future. And look at this juicy, juicy creep spread now. He's got the middle of the map on lock. Stalkers walk on up. Harstem is like, where's that attack you were showing me? Ooh, and the Zerglings move in nice around here on the Stalkers. No blink on these Stalkers. +1 just started and Twilight Council not even done yet. So decent trade here for Bly. Actually catches Harstem out of position a little. Ooh, 4 oracles turn on their laser beams and instantaneously annihilate one of the Ravagers. Do decent damage to Roaches as well. It's of course a spell, so it ignores armor, if I'm correct. So these Roaches have decent health pool, but a bunch of their bulk is also the fact that they have a nice amount of armor. Bly breaks down the rocks over here so we can have access to maybe this position so we can get into the main without having to mine out these minerals. And we see Infestation Pit and Evo Chamber going down for Bly. So unless he's going for very fast Hive, I'd expect a Hydrodent to go down as well if that was the case for Lurkers. But this is probably going to be some more Swarm Hosty boys. And I love me some Swarm Host. I think y'all are aware of that. 4th base going down for Bly. But look at the worker count. Like, he's 51 workers. And still behind. And how many has he lost this game? 3. Like, this was a pretty committed attack after all. and it just didn't go through. Harstem was just kind of like, okay. Okay. Okay, Harstem mining out these minerals and taking a 4th base. Bly plonking down a 5th base of himself before the 4th base is even done. 2 more drones do go down. Not sure where, but they did die. And the oracles are here. One of them turns on. And now a bunch of more of them turn on. Try to get damage here. I think if all 4 of them targeted the Spore Car, they could have gotten kills. But still, 7 drones die here. And Bly's still behind on the work account. And the gold is now mining out. So you can't really say that he's ahead in income anymore. Let's take a look. And indeed, he's behind on income in both aspects. Both gas and minerals. Bly's a little behind here. We do see a Spire coming down, so kind of a Bly classic here. We also see a macro hatch here for Bly, so he has a lot of hatcheries on the field. We see at least 6 hatcheries so far, so you can just inject them a bunch with your queens, and I don't think you'll ever run out of larvas. 18 roaches here. This is what I would call the Bly dilemma. So you gotta make more roaches or more muta? It's always both. He's always gonna make both. But no Swarm Hosty boys just yet. And as I say it, 4 Swarm Host, 5 Swarm Hosts are added on. +1 about to finish, and +1 is pretty juicy on Swarm Hosts, or on the Locust specifically, because Locusts have such high DPS. Or fire rate is what I should say. They shoot very fast, okay guys? They have machine guns. They're like little Marini boys. And there are some zealots here in the gold base, taking down a queen, taking out some of the Zerglings. And these oracles are just escorting the force of Bly home. Bly didn't lose too many drones, but he's still on that 60 drone count, as any aggressive Zerg does. No drones in the gases here on the 4th base, though. I kind of feel like Bly wants that, because he has a Spire. You just want more gas for these mutas, but he never saturated it. Oh no. We see a lot of locusts dumped here in the middle of the map, and I think that was the first big locust wave of the game. And, I mean, everybody knows the meme, right? That the first locust wave is the most important one. If that one does nothing, you kind of lose all momentum. It's such a momentum unit, and it's already 10 minutes into the game. Harstem has already established a 4th base. Like, it's already worse than when you kind of rush it from 2.5 bases. And Bly made, like, what, 17 roaches and ravagers and lings before ever getting to the Swarm Host. We do see the Locust landing in the natural here, focusing down a couple probes, but kind of an awkward position, only getting 2 probes for his troubles. Now, we do see Burrow here with the Swarm Host, as was intended all these years ago. The Heart of the Swarm Host is back, but it is under vision from Harstem's observer here. More Zealot run-bys here. I don't know if Bly can handle these. He is maxed, but he's maxed on Swarm Host and Roaches and Ravagers. And he got some mutas right now, so let's see what the mutas do. Mutas fly in, and there's 1 Phoenix. Anion Pulse Crystals is started. And a 2nd Stargate, so... Well... Harstem didn't even see the Spire, but he just kind of assumed that it's Bly, and I'm rich on 4 base. Harstem is very passive, but I think for good reason. It's just kind of like, you can't win a long game against me, so as long as I don't move out, I just power up to my 4 base, I just power up my maxed super strong army, and more Stargates coming now. So we see 3 Stargates in total, I think? So he might start building carriers as well after this, which is kind of the nail in the coffin for Bly. Like, he has a lot of money, but all of his units are just so high supply. He kind of needs to trade them off without losing the game right away. 22 Banelings. That'll help you trade off some of that money. Alright, we do see 6 Templars with Storm. Mutas trying to get some work done again. Swarm Host, oh, he does see them, but not really. They run into some expiring Locust, actually. Super awkward. Oh, Anion Pulse Crystal Phoenixes doing the work onto these mutas, and in the same moment, Harstem moves out and just storms the army of Bly to smithereens. Bly trying to rebuild on 40 Lings versus 4 Archons and Storm. Feels bad, man. There are a bunch of mutas now in the natural of Harstem. Taking down some probes, but not taking down the Phoenix because they are on top of a nuclear battery and anion pulse crystals. We do see a Tempest as well. Okay. One random Tempest. We do see a mothership being produced, almost done here as well, and now there is a carrier. We see +1 air is almost done, +3 attack is almost done. Ooh, big juicy locust wave though. 17 probes went down, 19, 20 probes. Swarmos kind of paying for themselves eventually. And the 1 Tempest, 1 Observer hit squad does find the Swarm host. More storms going down. These banelings do not like getting stormed nowadays. So they don't have as much health as they used to. Nice biles. Do catch a Stalker there. And he can just bile retreat until he gets to his spine crawlers. And hopefully the rest of his units. Ultralisk Cavern here. Ultralisks are pretty good at killing Archons and High Templar, but there is 5 Immortals. And they're good because carriers are very bad at killing Ultralisks. But we don't see any armor upgrades yet, though. So unless we see at least the Ultralisk armor upgrade, I think it's going to be kind of lackluster to have these Ultralisks join the fight. Still some Swarm host on the map. Mothership gets seen. Little run by here to the potential 5th base of Harstem. I think he already threw it down once. And he's trying to get the gold base once more. What a big ass army from Harstem. And if you're blind, like what do? He has a bunch of banelings. 42 banelings, that's quite a bit. Ooh, locusts do get killed here and the swarm host are dead, but that actually just frees up a lot of supply for blind. Makes 7 corruptors here. And Harstem trying to establish his 5th base here. Nice damage on the natural from those swarm hosts. A lot of lings trying to get some damage done here, but there's a lot of cannons present in the 4th base. And now there's 2 carriers, a mothership, 5 immortals. We see 6 archons. Like, what do? Archons still soak a lot of banelings, and here come the banes. Ooh, time warp slowing down all of these potential baneling hits. And there's still all of these stormy boys, 4 High Templar in the mix. And this 4th base of Bly does get blown to smithereens. 5 Ultralisks underway, so Bly's trying to not engage until those Ultralisks join his army. Ooh, his army gets stormed to smithereens, completely destroyed, and he actually goes in before the Ultralisks pop. Now the Ultralisks are here, but there's only 3 more Corruptors or Ravagers, and this just looks underwhelming. Look at the Ultralisks just getting completely annihilated by +3 Immortals. And the Immortals, the Mothership, and the Carriers are still alive. 2 Immortals do end up going down, but Bly is running out of units, and the supply does not lie. And like that, Bly has to tap out, and Harstem takes the 2nd game in this best of 5. And Harstem ties up the series, which means we are here in game number 3 on hard lead, where Bly decides to go for a cheeky 12 pool. So let's see what he does with that. Harstem is scouting right away, though. So maybe he has some intel. I don't know if he scouted after Pylon in the previous 2 games. I feel like he did not. But I might be talking out of my ass here. Ooh, the drone is here. Actually trying to trick the probe here. Like, yeah, I'm going to take my natural at the 3rd base now because you're going to block my expansion. And it kind of works. The probe is staying back a little bit, so Bly bought a couple seconds extra of Harstem not knowing that it's a 12 pool. And now he comes in, he sees lack of drones, and he sees the pool. So he knows right away that it's a 12 pool. And of course, there's a hatchery being built in his wall. If you're Harstem, you can't be happy with that. He actually responds with a forge. So the previous people that I saw deal with it, I think Spatz and I think Skillus as well, they just built a gateway and a core as a wall. But this is like a cyber core and a forge and a pylon, and there's a hole here, there's a hole here. I'm guessing the pylon didn't reach all the way, so he couldn't, like, block this off with another building? Zealot does come out, actually, so that was chrono boosted. Second Zealot in production. And we also see a photon cannon being committed here by Harstem, plugging up the wall a little bit. And the Zerglings from Bly do come in. The hatchery is actually cancelled. And the Lings come in. The drone does try to hide himself up in the top of the base, but the Zerglings kind of make the Zealot walk up, and now the hatch in the main is of course spotted. Perhaps Bly's hoping that Harstem will commit a pylon and a cannon at least to that. But so far, Harstem just fully ignoring this hatchery, but Bly only committing 6 Lings to this. And he has a natural back at home as well. He's just started mining gas, so I kind of feel like Bly is not committing to this at all. He's just making drones, making his queen, and this is... God, this is an ugly wall. Holy moly. I think the correct term is a ratty wall. Like, look at this. Look at this. 2 pylons, a forge. Like, it's looking like a 2010 wall, you know? And the last couple Lings do get cleaned up in the main base of Harstem. Bly's hatchery sure to go down. I would be surprised if he doesn't cancel it. And here is a Stargate. Dude, look at this wall. What is this? And indeed, it does get cancelled. The drone probably runs around a little bit more until it dies. And the Adept does get the honor of killing that drone. Bly does have all the intel that he needs with this one Overlord. He knows if the Adept shaded out of his base already. He knows if the Zealots stay back or not. It's pretty valuable information. And now this Stargate halfway done already. And now we see another gateway. Okay, so the wall has been salvaged a little bit. It's not super, like, there can't be a Baneling bust. But it's still a little ugly, you know? Stargate's now done. We do see super fast forge. If I was playing, I couldn't resist starting a +1 here. But you might have other plans with your gas. You might want a super fast Twilight console. Get that blink going ASAP. Ooh, the Adepts shit into the natural. So they got a little bit of intel, but now they also got a little bit of drone kills. One Adept does go down. And nice targeting from Harstem. Gets another drone, but does lose 2 Adepts for that. I think Bly is okay with that. He's slightly behind on workers, but the Adepts are dealt with. You see 1 Spore, 2 Spore going down for this Oracle harassment. 8 more drones and a quick lair this game. Or a decently quick lair, I would say. 2 Queens trying to shoo away this Oracle, and the Oracle gets 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kill. Nice target fire by Harstem here, and the Oracle survives. Go sit in his little corner. Do you see Twilight console here? Still no +1. He does have a decent amount of gas, but I guess he just ignores this. This is not part of my build, it's just part of my defense. So let's see what's on the map. We have 2 Oracles so far. So there's 1 at third base. Ooh, trying to force out a laser beam. Only 3 Lings here, so that's not enough to do a critical damage to the hatchery. And Harstem decides to warp in some Stalkers. Kind of signaling to Bly that it's going to be Blink, I think. Like, this is super early to see Stalkers, right? Like, don't you want at least 1 or 2 Adepts just in case there's a Ling Flood? Like, he knows that you didn't build a 3rd Oracle. And there we see a quick Hydra Den coming out from Bly, so maybe he is going for that kind of like counter to Harstem's build, where Harstem is going to make a lot of Blink Stalkers. And Bly is going to make Ling Hydra, which is super good at killing Blink Stalkers once you catch them. So maybe he makes some Infestors with that as well. You don't need the energy upgrade nowadays. So if you just make like 1, 2, I think 3 Infestors would be a good number. 2 more drones die at the third base. Harstem's really good at just picking off a couple drones here and there. So we see 5 kills and 1 kill, 6 drone kills on these Oracles. Ooh, cheeky Ling drop here in the main from Bly. And he doesn't really know which pylon to target, but he did kill 2 probes so far. Third probe goes down to the Lynx. 4 probes? Might get a 5th one as well. Ooh, 4 probes go down to the little Ling drop. That is nice and cute. Didn't try to do a secondary Ling run by in the third base in the meanwhile, because that means you'd have to commit a lot of extra units now. We do have some Hydras here out on the field. These Hydras are trying to catch these Oracles from flying into the main base. Does have the Cell Naga vision here. And this is a lot of Hydras out on the map. He does have Hydra speed, which kind of indicates that he wants to attack with them, because Hydra speed only benefits you off of creep. But Harstem sees these Hydras, that they are moving out, and these 4 are being led away from the main army. And I think he's trying to pull Harstem out of position here, but this is a lot of Stalkers, and the Hydra Ling is here. It got tagged as well, so Harstem knows where all of the Hydras and Lings are. So this is a lot of Hydras with Ling reinforcements, and he's just trying to kill Harstem here from 45 drones. And wow, nuclear battery goes down right away. A couple Lings did get stasis, and now there's no front line for these Hydras anymore. And that's the big linchpin of this attack. You never want your Hydras dying. You just want the Zerglings to tank for the Hydras. But the Stalkers ate through the Lynx so fast. And now +1 almost done. No upgrades on Bly's side. And he's just making more units. I think there might be a secondary attack from Bly here. But after that, like, Harstem held this on 4 gateways. So 4 more gateways are on their way. 4th Nexus, he's getting a 4th base before the Zerg has a 4th base. Okay? That's how all effing in Bly is right now. And now I think he's just hoping that Harstem makes a dumb move here. But the last game, if the last game has anything to say about that, we can speculate that Harstem is going to do the same, and he's just going to sit on his ass, get his 4 bases, get his probe count, get his ginormous... Well, it's not quite the Golden Armada, but the perfect army with Storm, Stalkers, some Immortals. He might even get some Disruptors or Colossi. Like, he can do pretty much everything, and he's going for charged Zealots right now, so super heavy on the gateway units. Kind of Zerg in the Zerg, I always feel like, where they get super fast 4th base. They get Stalkers and Zealots with decent upgrades. They just do run-bys. Ooh, those slow Zealots get annihilated. Nice pickup here by Blind. That's just a lot of Hydras. And the Lings come in around the back, hand around the waist, hold them in place for these Hydras, but the Stalkers just blink over. And the Hydras are trying to take down these Stalkers, move and scoot forward onto these Stalkers. But Harstem doesn't seem super impressed. Sends another run-by of Zealots, and that is super annoying to deal with, especially if you're all-inning right now, because you don't want to keep your units at home, right? And the Zealots are in the 3rd base, killing Bly's dudes. Bly does get the 4th base as kind of a consolation prize. Also gets 10 probes here. And actually, the Zealots were cleaned up by that Hydra force. Now, +2 almost done for Harstem. He's still way up in workers. He can just rebuild that 4th base. And wow, we see lurkers here coming out from Bly. He has a lurker den. Still 0 upgrades. Also can't get any upgrades for the lurkers. I think they're both locked behind Hive. So these are just short-range lurkers, but lurkers are still pretty darn good against Stalkers, especially if the Stalkers randomly blink on top of them without detection. Ooh, 2 Hydras do go down to this Zealot run-by. Lurkers get a decent volley off, but you saw the low range of the Lurker right there. Harstem has all the vision here. Another attack coming in from Bly. Lings and Hydras trying to, once are up, wrap themselves around the army of Harstem. Now the Hydras are on top of the Archon, so they can target it down right away. Bly is making this a game, but he's still on 40 workers, so this is an all-in, into an all-in, into an all-in. And here comes the first Immortal. There are 3 lurkers here trying to get or anchor the position here. But this Zealot run-by here gets recalled, takes a couple drones back, but also pulls back the entire army, and Bly loses 3 of the lurkers there. It's not looking good. 38 workers for Bly. We do see a lurker drop here in the main base by Bly. That is very cheeky, but you also need to be out on the map attacking right now. Use this diversion to get a nice position. And Bly is moving in slowly but surely. But this is just such a big army from Harstem. And loses 2 lurkers in the main for no damage at all. And Harstem splitting us up his army really cleanly. Because if you, like, move half your army into the main to deal with this 2 lurkers, then yes. Bly can just set up outside of your natural. You can never get out of your natural without killing your own buildings. And then all of a sudden Bly can take really good engagements. But whole position Zealots there trying to hit the drones. But the Zealots weren't feeling it that much. Still, 3 drones do go down. And the Hydras are just running around trying to clean up these small Zealot run-bys. 4th base is being established. 3rd Immortal about to join the fight. We do have +3 attack underway for Harstem. Whereas Bly only has +0. Wow, Hydras got caught in the middle of the map there. Not really supposed to happen, but you have to take some risks if you're Bly here. And sadly, the risks don't seem to be paying off that well. Zealot run by again, pulling back some of the Hydras and the Lynx here. Even with Hydra speed, they still seem very slow compared to these super speedy Zealots. And these lurkers are hoping to get some nice hits out, but the Observer saw them, and the army just jumps on top of them. No reinforcements from Bly, and he loses all of his lurkers once again. And I feel like that's just a nail in the coffin. Look at the supply. Harstem almost doubling him in supply, and he's doubling him in army supply. And his army is way more cost effective. Almost has +3 attack. Like, I'm surprised Bly is still playing this game at this point. Because he can't deny the 4th base of Harstem right now. And if he clicks a unit from Harstem in the next 5 seconds, he's going to see +3. 2 more lurkers trying to do a run by here, whilst Bly attacks at the front, but he just doesn't have the numbers. And StarCraft is a numbers game in the end. If you just have more stuff, you will eventually overpower your opponent. And my god, does Harstem have more stuff. +1 shields here. I like shields so much on Protoss. I think it's so good. Especially because shield batteries exist nowadays, especially nuclear batteries. Like, you can have units that get, like, their shields back 3-4 times. And that makes the shield upgrade so much more value than the armor upgrade. And wow, the Zerg gets surrounded here by the Protoss, and well, that's all she wrote. Harstem is up 2-1. And Harstem is now on a match point on Site Delta, usually considered a pretty good Zerg map. And going again for an early scout. Now, what I was saying in the last game about the shields, I like them a lot because of shield battery. I like them, of course, because of Blink Stalkers as well. Archons are good, and it transitions so well into your air units. So it can be your War Prism, but especially like the carriers and the Mothership to some extent. Like, holy moly, it's just so nice to have that kind of like double value. It also works on your buildings, which might not feel significant, but that shield battery might need 1 extra volley from the roaches, or I don't know what else. Like, I think it's super nice, and it's not that much more expensive than armor nowadays. Or is it like the same price nowadays? They changed it pretty recently. They made it cheaper, and I don't agree with that, but you know. Ooh, Drone trying to fight the probe here. Drone would win because of the health regeneration, but the second probe comes in to save the day. And Harstem is going to plonk down that natural expansion. Bly also plonking down a natural here. It seems a little late. Maybe he was planning to do another hatch. I mean, obviously he was planning to do a hatch block. Otherwise he wouldn't have been here. It's Bly. He does take a gas to regen some health on his drone for a little bit. Maybe he tries to take the other gas, but Harstem quickly takes it. We have seen Skillus deal with that by just taking a very quick gas at the natural and ignoring it completely. And there is a hatchery in the main base of Harstem, and he hasn't seen it yet. I'm guessing that as soon as he puts down a tech building, he will see it. But it might be very far along, and we only see the first adept. It is being rallied into the main base. So, Harstem... Yeah, Harstem knows. He had a hunch. I mean, of course, he saw that drone go into his base and didn't see it leave, right? The most Bly thing to do is just put it in the corner and do nothing with it. Just do nothing. Harstem going for that Stargate once more. So really thinking that the Stargate is the building to play EVP with. Now Adept hitting this one hatchery. And is Bly going to commit on it? He's starting speed. I don't see a Roachborn and Burrow. And like Roach Burrow can be pretty okay from a proxy hatchery in the main base. Because usually they don't have early detection. Not reliable detection at least. So let's see what he does with it. He probably pulls up 3 larvae and then pulls the trigger. Ooh, super fast lair here from Bly. So what is he going to do with this? He starts a queen. He starts a drone. He sees... What does he see? He sees the Stargate, because hatcheries have quite a bit of vision, because they are a main base building. We see 1 drone. They're making a spore crawler, but the Stalker and the Adept are not going to let that happen. We see 2 Zerglings out here on the outside of the base. Harstem plugs up his base to make sure that no Ling run-by can happen whilst his units are dealing with the stuff in the main. Behind it we see some drones from Bly. Actually has 2 base saturation here. And ooh, gets a little damage on the hull of the Stalker, but look at that. Full shields again. Shield upgrades would be good now, huh? And the Queen does go down, did inject, did try to put down a creep tumor, but it got immediately cleaned up. The drone gets killed by this charged up Void Ray. And now we see Warp Gate finishing, another Void Ray, second Void Ray coming out. And Bly's making a Nidus Worm once again, and 4 gases as well. So this looks to be another Swarm Host build. Just signified by these other 3 gases, starting a little later than you would with 2 base Mira. Infestation Pit, there it is. No 3rd base for Bly whatsoever. We see the Lings and the Overlord spreading themselves around to give vision. But there's 2, not 1, 2 Void Rays moving around the base, or around the map, to look for nice spots where those Nidus Worms could go down and annihilate the Nidus Worms. Ooh, Bly's ready with his Zergling, though. Nidus Worm is up, but there you see. Infestation Pit isn't done yet. No Swarm Host. Like, just make the Infestation Pit before this effing Nidus Worm. It's not that hard. You can time it out, baby. You know how long a Swarm Host takes? So basically, you make the Infestation Pit, and then you make the Worm just before the Infestation Pit is about to finish, and then you make the Swarm Host. And then you just rally them to your Nidus Worm. And then as soon as the Nidus Worm finishes, you plonk it down right away. But now you have this Nidus Worm for like 30 seconds. I mean, I know that I'm criticizing a professional player here, but I've played a lot of 2-base Swarm Hosts. Trust me, bro. Ooh. Oracle is... Ooh, doesn't see... The Nidus Worm. You do see that Harstem has decent vision here, actually taking a 3rd base as well. He's got an Adept over there, and now he hears it. He's like, what? Oh, of course it's there. Lol. And the Locusts are out on the prowl. This is the first load of Swarmos Locusts that are going into the main base. Nuclear battery triggered right away. You can just target that down, but instead he goes into the middle of the mineral line, doesn't hold position, but still gets decent hits, 6 probes. If you put half here, both on hold position, you kill almost every probe. Maybe a couple more near the shield battery. But Harstem actually pulling the trigger here. He's here with the Lings and the Queens, though. But Harstem has a lot of units here. The probes are pulled off the line as well. My god, he's revealing that he can't deal with this. And he's... Oh, using the Locust defensively as well. Like, you can plonk them down on top of your ramp and buy some time for maybe a Spine Crawler, but you prefer to use gas to defend because you need your minerals right now to rebuild workers and such. Although, as long as you have 2-base saturation, you're kind of fine. Another knight is going down. And more locusts are spawned defensively once again. Wow, Harstem has him pinned in his base and can't use his locust offensively anymore. So even though the first wave was pretty nice, Harstem just says, no, get out of my effing game, bro. Like, this is super awkward. No Roach Warren either. This is kind of why you always make a safety Roach Warren with these builds, but you just kind of don't. You don't want to do that. You want the Protoss to stay back, defend your locust wave so you can get your third base, get your drones, and then you can tech up, right? You can do the Bly thing, you can get some mutas, etc. Do see one Spinecrawler finishing up here, so the locust did buy time for that. And Bly does get out more Swarmos and he gets more locust waves, but it seems like he hasn't been doing the most damage. Dark Shrine here, but also Blink Stalkers in the natural, slowly taking down what they can. And this is already a pretty hefty amount of Stalkers. 15 Stalkers here. Ooh, 14. Just using that Blink Micro to take down the Queens, take down the Spinecrawlers. If you've played the Legacy of the Void prologue, you know how to do this. Because that's all you get in that mission pack. You just get Stalkers with Blink against the endless Zerg onslaught. Drones are pulled off the line once more. And the Swarmers are here, but they have no Locust Wave cooldown. And just like that, Harstem really shows us why 2-base Swarmos isn't the standard build. Because you can shut it down. And Harstem, wow. Just kind of wrecking Bly in that last game. Guys, thank you all for watching. This was Bly's run in the ESL 2023 Winter Edition, Europe Regional Playoffs. We are going to watch 2 more games. I think it's Firefly versus Oliveira, if I'm correct. And we're going to watch a Laser versus Hero Marine. A viewer, Aaron the Buffalo, requested that we cast those games. So, of course, we must oblige. After that, we are moving on to the Homestory Cup 24. Unless there are specific games from the ESL that you guys want to see, let me know in the comments. And there might also be some Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. Because that game is cool, and I just want to try my hand at casting it. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to like and subscribe. Cheers.